Hi hearties, welcome back to the Teacup Trail. We are on episode 4 of season 9. We are actually in the middle of the episode. This is the second part. If you missed the first part, the link is in the description below. It's really rare for me to film these videos at night, but tonight, on Tuesday night, I have my Teacup, and the tea of the night is actually Little Woman. And it's pretty cool. I went to the actual house of Louisa May Alcott, which was the writer of the Little Woman book, and it's in Massachusetts. And I went there for the first time. You can take a tour of the actual house, and they have 75% of the original furnitures and kitchen stuff and all that. When her family lived there, and it's pretty cool. So if you ever visit Massachusetts, I highly recommend you to take your own little woman tour, and you can easily find all the filming location in Massachusetts. So I have my tea tonight, and I am ready to talk about the second part of episode 4. I hope you enjoyed this one as well.
Right here. Good boy. Molly, would you step in?
Of course. How is he? What do you think?
Permanent first molars don't typically come in earlier than 5 years, but his gums are a tiny bit inflamed.
Okay.
First thing I noticed was how Lucas paced back and forth as he was waiting for Dr. Faith to finish up her exam on little Jack. And Lucas actually took up the recommendation from Rosemary to check little Jack out at the infirmary just to make sure everything is fine with him.
I can write a prescription.
I would want to check with Elizabeth.
Of course. You could always try ice.
He's not allowed.
He's not allowed to have ice?
Ice? Yes. We could try ice.
All right, well, come on back if that doesn't do the trick.
Also, Lucas respects Elizabeth as the primary parent, the mom of little Jack, and he told Faith, oh, let me double check with Elizabeth about the prescription. He really paid attention to the little details, and I really like that about him, especially when he babysit little Jack the whole day. It's just a huge responsibility, and you can see his mind is clouded, in a good way. Every time he keeps hearing ice cream, ice, it's just his brain automatically reject the word ice, anything to do with ice. And then he just realized oh, ice, and just ice. Yeah, little Jack can have some ice. He already has that parent brain, if that makes sense.
You know, things look much different here since the last time I saw it. You have a telephone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Lucas.
Uh-huh.
Children go through all kinds of different growing pains. Some of them big, most of them little.
Yeah.
Relax. You were doing a wonderful job with little Jack.
Do you think so?
I know so.
Thank you.
She encouraged him, she complimented him that he's doing great in taking care of little Jack. I really like how Lucas was just full of anxiety in a good way, because he hears so much for little Jack, and it's just really sweet to see that. And I bet Elizabeth is really happy about that too. She definitely want Lucas and little Jack to have a special relationship, and that special relationship to grow and get deeper as little Jack get older. And Lucas, of course, eventually will become his stepfather, but more than that, his actual father that will look over little Jack and take care of him and give him wisdom and knowledge about life, and a fatherly figure that little Jack can look up to. I'm gonna do another shout out. I'm telling you guys, if you guys comment on my videos, I am doing shout out throughout season 9. This lady is one of my biggest fans. I enjoy reading your thoughts and your prediction along the way on this Teacup trail. I appreciate your support, and this lady is Joan Jones. I just love Lucas because if Elizabeth needs anything, he is always there. So true. There was a quote I read that said, "I respect a man who heals a heart he didn't break, and love his child he didn't make." Lucas fits that quote so well. If Elizabeth thinking of marrying Lucas, she needs to see how he interacts with her child. Lucas was great with Jack, which I knew he would. And it's really special to see a dynamic like this in the show, and I believe that it brings like a greater storyline for Lucas, Elizabeth, and little Jack, and it's really, really cool. Lucas like never had a kid. I would assume that he never dated a woman with a kid. So at the same time, like, this is new for him, and that's really exciting.
I was just coming to see you. I wanted to ask you to dinner, to thank you for helping me and Newton.
No need, Nathan. It was my pleasure.
I insist. I know you've been in town only a few weeks, so you haven't tried all our restaurants yet.
No more than a dozen times apiece.
Well, it's your choice.
How about the saloon? Tonight?
I'll see you there.
I'm also gonna read the rest of her comment. I love Nathan with May because she had brought a lot to him, definitely. We hadn't seen Nathan have such nice conversation with anyone, so true. He had talked more this season than any other season. That's a good point. Lucas with Jack was heart-melting. I love this quote here pressing Elizabeth for information on getting married to Lucas. I had a good laugh. I think we all did. Rosemary Pig Latin was everything. Rosemary is real happy for Elizabeth and Jack. I enjoyed your review. Loved Highland as Jack. Great job. Thank you, Joan. Yeah, Nathan. I'm really liking Nathan this season. Yeah, he's just more open and more friendly. Yeah, it's just a better personality from him. There was like a character development going on with Nathan this season since like the very beginning of the season, and I really like that.
The latest pharmacy invoices.
Oh, thank you, May.
Do not mention this to Florence.
Not a word, Nathan.
She seemed happy that Nathan invited her for dinner. It made me really question, like, okay, like, what is the status between her and Jeffrey? Like, they must not be, like, in the actual marriage or something. Is she going out with Nathan on a dinner date? Is there a date? Like, I don't even know what a date is anymore. Anyway, yeah, she seemed happy and accepted his invitation. Nathan is like, I don't know, like, kind of flirting in a way, but he was like really happy and asking her out to dinner. I guess it's just a formal thank you dinner invitation, but it can turn into a date depending on how it goes. And it's really funny, Ned is watching this unfold in front of him, and Nathan like told him, don't tell Florence, because as we all know, Florence is like one of the main gossipers in Hope Valley. Like, she knows everything.
I saw Lucas and little Jack earlier today.
How were they doing?
Lucas will make a wonderful father. Oh, don't give me that look. You obviously feel the same way.
Yes. But perhaps you could slow my trip down the aisle just a bit.
If you remember when we talked in a previous video, we saw Elizabeth observing Lucas and little Jack from the far distance from the stairs of the schoolhouse. So she already had a sense of how well it went, and it was an adorable scene. And that's when the students asked her when she's getting married. So Elizabeth already had some idea, but of course she wanted to find out more from her friend Rosemary. And Rosemary complimented Lucas, he's going to be a great father. I think it's also that feeling of butterflies, that giddy happiness that Elizabeth felt when Rosemary said that, because like Joan said in her comment, it's really important for Elizabeth to see how Lucas interacts with his son, little Jack, and I think that's the top. I would say they're the top two requirements in order for her to move on to an engagement proposal with Lucas. I wouldn't be surprised if Elizabeth thinks in the back of her mind about not only right now, but in the future, far in the future. She not only wants to see a good relationship between Lucas and little Jack now, she wants that relationship to grow and to blossom, and to have that strong, tight-knit relationship of a father-son relationship. She wants little Jack to have a dad, to have a father figure for the rest of his life. There's still some question and challenges that Elizabeth had to go through, but it's no more about Jack. It's just the matter of just believing in that possibility of Lucas being in the family and getting married again with Lucas, and Lucas becoming the father for little Jack.
I'm a fugitive of sorts. From my husband. Well, he's not my
Husband?
It's confusing. You may want to take notes.
Some hearties think that Jeffrey owns May in some ways. We'll see what exactly going on between her and Jeffrey. I have no idea. And that was the Teacup question of the day. What do you think May's secret was? At first I thought he was abusing her in some ways. It was just a really bad relationship, a bad marriage, and she just tried to escape from him, get away from him and start a new life. But on the other hand, I'm okay, are you a late divorce or something? Because I'm thinking about the safety of Nathan Grant. I don't want him to get hurt. I just hope she doesn't lie too long or hold it from Nathan too long. You know what I mean? If she's still married by legal documents, or she owned by Jeffrey in some ways or what, she needs to tell Nathan if they becoming really, really close as friends, you know what I mean? Or even worse, if they actually do become a couple. So yeah, I think too much. Okay, I just looked up on Google just now. Okay, I thought one of the two guys got interviewed before season 9 premiere, and I forgot which. So there are some mystery men coming into Hope Valley. This article that pulled up, I think it's on. Yeah, if anyone wants the link, I will give it to you. Let me know. The first one is Arthur Gilchrist. We don't know who he is just yet. But the other one, I feel like I'm saying his name wrong. The other one is Jeffrey Lewis, but it's spelled Geoffrey Lewis, his last name. So I'm assuming he might be May's husband, and it looks like he is coming into Hope Valley eventually, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe I was right, because I know there was at least one new male character, a recurring role that's happening in season 9, and I didn't realize there was two guys coming on board. Well, if that's the case, we'll find out eventually later this season. For now, she is a fugitive of some sort from her husband.
Every morning, when on his way to Nottingham and passing through Sherwood Forest, that Robin knelt before Richard the Lionheart and declared, "I would rather keep the law and do good than live outside the law. For you are my Lord and my King." The end. Good night, buddy.
Good night, buddy.
Just a really nice, sweet sneak peek into that in her main future family life that Elizabeth can have with Lucas and little Jack and any of the other children that they may have at their own. It's super sweet, and Lucas, a lover of books, Elizabeth, a lover of books, and passing that on to little Jack is also sweet. And I really like how little Jack lifted his arms up like that, like just like chilling and relaxing and enjoying the story time, the bedtime story that Lucas was reading to him. I also paused on the teddy bear, wondering that had to be the same one in season 6, the carnival. If you remember, Lucas wanted a teddy bear for little Jack. What a throwback moment, that teddy bear.
How long were you listening?
Long enough to know that I feel more for you than I realized. And I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't offered to help.
You would have thought of something. Why don't I go get us dinner from the saloon?
I'd offer to cook, but I have to admit that sounds pretty nice.
I'll be right back.
They haven't said "I love you" to each other yet, and we already know that they do, but it's just the timing of it is like not right for them yet. But you can just totally see the love that they have for each other, and this scene is just the way they look at each other, and I'm just like, man, like it's just a really sweet romantic story to watch on television. Anyway, and I say Lucas looked really, really good in suspenders. Like when he takes that jacket off, like, ooh, it's just like really nice to see him like relax, with his jacket off.
Lucas,
Evening.
a little late for a picnic, isn't it?
Oh, no, I'm bringing Elizabeth dinner.
How nice.
Lucas,
Whatever it is, Wyman, it'll have to wait.
this can't wait.
Well, after you.
I also want to see a double date between Rosemary and Lee and Lucas and Elizabeth. I think that would be a fun storyline to see happen in season 9. Who knows? I mean, there are still 8 more episodes to this season. Walden interrupted, and you can tell that this is not good. And Lucas tried to postpone it and talk to him at another time, but you know how Walden is. He's like, he wants it his way. And they have this private conversation outside of the saloon. And I also was thinking, like, Rosemary and Lee, like, kind of, like, felt the vibe a little bit. And they're just like, you know, like, what is going on? And if anything happened, right, Rosemary and Lee, I mean, at least Rosemary would tell Elizabeth, like, oh, hey, I saw Walden talking to Lucas. It looked really serious and all that, so I wouldn't be surprised if Rosemary said something to Elizabeth down the road.
I forgot this at the pharmacy.
Thanks for coming.
Happy to be here.
Lodex.
Topical muscle relaxant. Faith agrees it could help your shoulder. I bet her that you'd be scrapping your sling any minute now. Made me a winner.
They are on a date. Let me know. Is this a date? I don't know what to call it. I don't know. I don't want to like say it if it's too soon.
You didn't say anything, but I noticed you trying to loosen it up.
Mint.
Just rub it on.
Well, you're the doctor. Or the pharmacist.
I can see Bill looking over to May. That look on Bill's face. Okay, so this is like something serious. Like the scene got hot. Like she only told us, the audience, that she is a fugitive of some sort from her husband. We don't know the whole story yet. We will find out eventually. I mean, we have to. To me, like, he's looking at May like, are you serious? You dressed up, you walk into Chelan, and you sat down with Nathan. And Nathan is a good friend of Bill. And Bill knows everything that's going on with May. And as a lawyer, as an attorney, like, you can't share that information freely, especially to Nathan, unless something happened, if I'm not mistaken. And that friendship work balance, like, oh man, like Nathan is right there, but I have to protect my job, I have to protect my client. Confidential information that he not shared to Nathan, like, unless something major happens that Nathan have to get involved in relation to May and her husband. We'll see if that happens, but it looks serious of what May told Bill, because the way Bill looked over to her. And I just hope Nathan doesn't get hurt in some way down the road. I just hope that May tells Nathan eventually. Like, I don't want her to, like, hold that secret like Nathan did to Elizabeth about the foreplay secret. Like, I don't want her to do that to Nathan. I think that would be, like, a really bad karma for Nathan. Reading that article that I just, like, shared with you a moment ago, it's like, okay, there are two mysterious men coming to Hope Valley. Yeah, man, I feel like this season gonna be jam-packed. And it already is a little bit. Like, I feel like we're climbing up to the climax of the season. We'll see what happens in episode 5. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this review too, and we will talk the rest of the episode for sure in the next video, and that will be the third and final video for episode 4. Again, the playlist on my channel, When Calls the Heart, you can find all the Teacup videos since season 6. The love triangle between Nathan, Lucas, and Elizabeth. If you are interested, feel free to catch up or watch certain episodes. Thank you for your support, and thank you for those who started following my channel. You're pretty awesome, and I think I'm doing good. Am I doing good? Been really fun to do this, and I will post the third part of this episode review hopefully Thursday night. Hopefully. Hope you have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. See you soon. Bye.